You better say that now.
All right, Ronald Bruce Arsenal. What's up?
Man, what's up, baby? Here we are. We
So
here.
this is the inaugural run of So You Better
Oh my goodness.
Say
You
That.
better say that. Yeah.
So man, when we thought about doing this, what is your idea? What is it that you want the people to get from what we gonna say?
Man, I just want folk to see that because there's a stigma that comes with the faith and with Christianity. And uh a lot of times people have their experiences from people that they knew that practiced the faith, and they'll cause that to be the whole blanket of what they think the faith is or what it is not, And so, for me personally, I just would like for people to see two brothers that believe, just be able to laugh and cut up and just show some things that perhaps they would not have readily associated with Christianity. Like, we like sports. Unfortunately, you are a Clown Boy fan. You ride or die with them, no matter the record. And I'm still a nation. So, but just to show different glimpses of that, and to show what it is as we make our transition from incarceration to out here in society, and all that embodies, and just everyday life, man. Just everyday life, just to show what it is, man.
Okay, so for my part, I just genuinely believe some of the conversations that we have, whether the subject matter is biblical,
Right.
relational, or even sports related, I said, man, this is too good just to keep
Yeah.
between two
Yeah.
brothers. And so I just want to just express to the world that we have fun, but there's some godly wisdom that comes from having good relationships. And
Right.
so I saw that you wore that Steeler cap. I didn't really comment. You know, the
Yeah.
man brought the Steeler cap. The folks don't see you, but you brought the Steelers cap. Maybe one day when we look back at how we began, I might put this video out where you wearing this Steelers cap. But for right now, tell us the circumstances that you and I met under from your perspective, and I'll give you mine, and let's see what's happening.
Okay. Okay. So the year, if I remember correctly, the year was 2002, and I had been assigned uh, to the Allen B. Polanski unit. I don't know if it was the Polanski unit at that time, or if it was just coming from the name change, but
Hmm.
we were in prison, we were incarcerated, and I was sent to the Polanski unit. And because of some things that I was involved in, I was on medium custody. For those that don't know, that's like the not so good side. That's like when you've been cutting up and doing stuff you don't have no business. And so while I was over there, that unit has a strong faith base, has a strong church over there, and you were a part of the team that would come over to what is referred to as B side, to come over to B side and minister the gospel to the guys over there. And and honestly, it was just, it just was your thing. I came to find out that it was just your thing when you would see somebody that you didn't just know, or somebody that was new to the unit. You would approach them because you always had ministry in mind. I came to find that out later on. And just in some small talk, you're like, okay, man, what's going on? You introduce yourself, and I told you my name and this, that, and another. And it came out that I was from PA, Port Arthur, Texas, and you went to school with you ran across some guys that's a little bit older than me. You had a story with that about T Hop, who thank God is a pastor right now. But and you shared that with me, that story, that situation, and you basically kind of asked me, well, man, this the church, man. We here for you guys, and this, that, and other. And in that, we began to talk, and I shared with you that that I actually am in the faith, but I'm just in a very rebellious state right now, you know, and this, that, and other. And you just encouraged me, like, man, you know, we here, man, and there's a place for you, you know, here we, you know, and then I did my little time, what was required of me to be on medium custody, and I came up to A side, and actually it's like a blur right up in there, because it go from that to us just being just boom, you know, just to
Okay.
now. So
Okay. We'll pick up there. But today, this first show, it's about the journey that brought us to this point. And so in my mind, when I go up in church and I saw you, and as you said, I really didn't know you, and I'm very interested in people. I'm interested in everyone's well-being. But as we began to speak, somehow, some way, whether it was that first conversation or another one, you told me, you know, I could sing. And you didn't say it like I can sing like I want to sing. It just came up. I was like, what unit you come from? You told me. And I'm like, oh, okay, what you doing over there? He said, little this, little that. But I sing. And I'm like, oh, you sing. Oh, okay. Little did I know the untapped God in you at that moment. But I'm just looking, okay, you say you sing. You might not have been able to sing. And so just talking to you and kicking it with you, and you being open enough and transparent enough to share some of the struggles that you were going through and just being present.
yeah,
Now I'm going to fast forward. Boom. You come to another side of the prison and you're here now, and you're better than you were, but it's still some stuff going on. And just like in my own life, we always have things that God is perfecting. Some of those things disqualify us for a season, meaning the gifts and calling, they're going to stay. But, you know, sometimes our behavior disqualifies us. And I was always still hadn't really understood I'm going to repeat it again. The untapped. Untapped. It had not been unleashed yet. But
yeah,
I didn't know this, but I'm just loving on you. You know, you're responding and we're talking. And then suddenly, because it gets a little blurry to me, we had a little choir director that you call him Kobe Bryant, named Charles Evans, and you've been doing your best. And I'm like, man, you need to meet Charles Evans. And for those who don't know, because we might have young Charles on here one day, say
oh my goodness.
he calls the man Kobe Bryant. Look, tell the people why did you call Evans Kobe Bryant?
Man, because this dude, and at that time, Kobe had reached the upper echelon of the NBA. He had the green, you know, he had been through his seasons of shooting air balls. You know, we talking about the actual late Kobe Bryant. He had been through his seasons of shooting air balls, you know, in meaningful games and this, that, and other. And he came back the next year and he still had the green light to do it again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he never saw a shot that he didn't like, you know what I'm saying? And so this guy here, man, this brother Charles Evans, man, he was you know, for those that don't know, he was he was a warden's, you know, in layman's term, it would be referred to as a janitor or whatever like that out in society. But he worked for the warden. He had a job working up what we would call headquarters up there at the warden. So in the natural realm, you know, he can pretty much go where he want to go in the prison and eat in the officer's dining room at his discretion, pretty much, and this, that, and other. And then when you come into the household of faith, because he was the leader of the worship team and he was also one of the musicians, who gonna tell him what song he can't sing and what song they not gonna play? So this dude, he just had the green light to pull up whatever shot he wanted to pull up. He could shoot the ball whenever he wanted to, wherever he wanted to. And to me, it was just Kobe-esque. And so in a playful banter, I'd be like, man, look, Kobe, man. Come on, Kobe, man. You know, like that. And so it just stuck. It just lay inside, jokey joke.
Okay. And what I remember, Charles Evans did not lack believing in himself. And so
Yeah.
that the people can understand something, he was very talented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning
Yeah.
whether it's going to be gospel music, country western music,
Yeah.
R&B music, he can not only play it on the bass, he can sing it at the same time, and he's going to direct the choir at the
Yeah.
same time. So literally, this man is slinging a bass in one
Yeah.
hand, directing the choir, and then if you happen to miss your note, he's going to hit it in the mic. And this is all
Yeah.
my church is going on where
Yeah.
for me at the time, because I was in the choir, and I was not in the choir because I was the best vocalist, but I was in the choir because he told me, say, I need your spirituality. I need you to come in here and pray and be a good witness. And I said, man, you know, the voice thing, I'm not for sure. He said, say, I got you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I can actually say everything that he asked me to do, to even at times direct the choir. He always not only made sure that I was competent, I knew as long as there was a microphone close to him,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to come through. And so the reason that I just want to reminisce about that, because that's going to play a vital role to me into the man that I saw you become.
Mm-hmm.
From when you just saw him and y'all, that's Kobe Bryant and this, that, and the other. And when you eventually got in the choir and you're like, man, I'm really not trying to sing. And I'm like, man, if you got a voice, sing for the Lord. And then he, with his little input, he was like, man, you tell me your boy can sing. But I just can't get him to come out that shit. I said, well, he looks at it more like you're asking him to perform
Right.
versus worship the Lord. And so on that note, that's a fine line.
Mm-hmm.
When you are beginning to learn what you have been sent to this earth to do, especially if you're able to do it well, it can come off like a performance to some people.
Right. Right.
And so as I saw you go beyond, okay, it's not about what he's asking me, even if his intentions were wrong. What are your intentions? And so that's for another time, but that was that journey of our introduction. So
Yeah.
now this podcast right now, we talking about the journey. Do you remember how I asked you, say, bro, we need to do a podcast because there's some wisdom coming forth from these conversations? And that was, you remember how long ago that was?
Oh man, that I don't know, man. Maybe about 2.5 months ago, maybe.
Weeks, about 2.5 months ago.
That's why I say about 2.5 months ago.
Okay, yes. And so, because I told you, I believe in you, and I believe that not only your personality, but the things that you're gonna just be able to share. Because just like now, when it's just kicking it with you, you know, it's funny. It's not only a good feeling, we have a great friendship, and I hope that this thing, you know, helps some people. What's your viewpoint?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, because we have unique perspectives. We have unique perspectives, you know, and I, you know, a person can hear that and say, "Oh man, here come another podcast, man." Here go. And I genuinely believe that there is nothing on the airways that is similar to what's going to be birthed right here. It just isn't. It just isn't.
Okay. So in closing, because this is just about the journey, we're just saying this is what's upcoming. Let's just pick a subject out the sky blue and just how did we get to where we're at on this subject? And so, you know, what we love to converse about and help each other with, the women, the
Yeah.
opposite sex,
Yeah.
the ladies, the females,
Oh my
the
goodness.
sisters.
Oh my goodness.
So for you to be at the point where you're at right now, generally speaking, in your viewpoint of the opposite sex,
Mhm.
how did you get there?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Um, man, you know what?
Don't
I
get in trouble. Don't get in trouble.
yeah, nah, you know, honestly, the where I am right now really comes from a myriad of poor decisions. It's a culmination of things, poor decisions, uh, a yearning, because I was incarcerated at a young age. You know, I was a teenager and I was incarcerated, and I wasn't that dude. No matter what, you know, guys don't want to say this, you know, but I you know, for the sake of the transparency in the podcast, I say this here. Although I was seemingly popular, I just wasn't that dude that just was very active sexually.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And it was like probably right before my incarceration, man, that I got me a little piece of cake. You know what I mean? I got me a little two pieces of cake. And so it was like when the text say, you know, that boy, they was supposed to be fasting, and he hit that honey, and then his eyes was enlightened. You know what I'm saying? Say, man, they let me, man, I got 1 or 2 pieces of cake. And then next thing I know, I'm in the county jail with a capital murder. And I'm like, hold up, man. Y'all can't do me like this. I just got my little first 2 slices of cake, man. What is y'all doing? You know what I mean? And so, and man, that's something that we could discuss in depth through our different the podcast. But when you say what's my current state is as a result of that, it's like I find myself still chasing and pursuing yesteryear. You know what I mean? Trying to make up and trying to compensate for what I feel like I missed out on. And I share this with you. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember one time when we were still on the inside, and I was telling you, I say, man, God, dog, man, I don't have nothing, man. I don't have nothing in my memory bank. I don't have nothing, man. My stuff is nothing for me to draw from because it's insufficient funds when it comes to sexuality, you know, sexual encounters rather, you know. And I remember you told me, man, I remember this. You say, man, look, that can be a good thing for you. You know what I mean? Because there is nothing that the enemy can use to remember the time, Mike Jackson. You know what I mean? You know, you don't have those images dancing in your mind, you know, and whereas with you, you had experiences, you know what I'm saying? And when the enemy want to fool with you, he can dangle the Saudi Arabian woman, you know, he can dangle, you know, your pet, you know, he can dangle that, and you got to armor up, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I didn't have, and that's what you was trying to get me to understand. And they don't know, but in natural conversations, because I am talking to you, you know, I'm gonna call you what I call you. They don't know, but I call him Jakes, and the reason, you know, he asked me about the COVID thing, but the reason how that was birthed about, how that came about was this right here. This dude, and this is no exaggeration. This is no exaggeration. First and foremost, it pays homage to the God that we serve. Let me be clear when I say that. First and foremost, in addition to that, it also represents the discipline that he still walks up under right now. In that unit that we was at, especially prior to me coming to that unit, it was nothing for my co-host in his attempt to walk to his cubicle where he slept and laid his head in. It was nothing for him to pass by 2 or 3 different cubicles where inmates were having sex with the guards. And to hear that moaning and that, ooh, ooh, and all this, and still go to his bar and pray and then go to sleep and not want no parts of that, no parts of that. And I watched this dude walk up under a high order. And whether it's fair or not, many ministers that are in the public eye, if they have a falling or if something overcomes them or overtakes them, oh man, it's pretty much, society pretty much color them bad. No matter how much wisdom is bestowed upon them, no matter how much people can know the hand of God is on them, man, once they hear something about you, whether it's tax evasion, women, or you got a bad attitude, or you just pursuing money and different adventures or whatever like that, once they get a hold on you, man, it's pretty much a wrap. Well, the Bishop T.D. Jakes is one of many, but he is, in my opinion, for the plateau that the Lord has allowed him to walk on, he has been scandal free. I mean, I know if you were able to talk to him, he would tell you, man, there are things that I struggle with. There are things that I have to present, I have to bring to the cross each and every day. I know he would. But from an outside looking in, there is not a Jimmy Swaggart moment. There is not, and I love this brother to death, Dr. Jamal Bryant moment. There is not that. And this lately was going on with Kenneth Copeland. And seemingly he lost his doggone mind. And they say about Osteen, they opened up the church for Harvey until people cast a bad light on him, and he was drugged into being great or doing something great. See all these different guys, there is something that folk can pin on them. Well, at this time, and still to this day, to my knowledge, there is nothing that can be said about Bishop Jakes. And so while we're in that prison, Sean, to me, was our Jakes. And I'm like, is weed here? Is alcohol here? Is women here? Is cash money here? Is just little guilty vices that you can incorporate yourself in, that he abstains from all of that for the sake of, man, I want to please God. And I'm like, man, who can we liken this dude? I say, man, that's Jakes, man. And just and to his credit, he would, when I first started calling him that, he went down with it. Man, don't call me that, don't call me that. Because he's a real humble dude in that regard. Let me emphasize, in that regard. They don't call me that. But it caught on, and the masses of people in the facility, next thing you know, all of them say, man, y'all, it was such a blessing to where if we was doing something, smuggling some cheese or something out the chow hall, and we see him finna walk up, you hear, man, here come the bishop, man, y'all put that stuff up, y'all. Y'all put that stuff up, but it was just that. And so I say that, I tell this story, so if in my comfortability in our relationship, you hear me saying, come on, Jakes, man. It's just that we in our element, and that's what I call him, man. But yeah. That's.
I see you went there. For me, I can never remember a moment that I did not like the opposite sex. I was never one of those little boys that was like, man, I don't like girls. And a key thing happened to me in second grade. I was going to a Catholic school and I was sitting at the end of a lunch table. And my cousin and myself were the only African Americans that attended this Catholic school at the time. And I'm in second grade, and two little girls of another race were sitting at the other end of the table. And so I moved down there and I said, how are you guys doing? And they're like, hello. And so I just continued to eat and, just pay attention to them. And so one of them asked me, why are you here? And I said, oh, I like you. Both of us? I like you. And they said, we don't like you. I said, okay. So I took my lunch, went back to the other end, and I made up in my mind in second grade, I'm never going to put myself in a position again where a woman has the ability to reject me. Now, in my little small mind, I made that decision up. And so from that point on, whether it was learning Shakespeare, whether it was pursuing sports, whether it was reading philosophy, reading mythology, reading different subjects to be able to be conversant in a lot of different areas. From that moment on, I put myself in a position not to say that I caught or dated or was never told no again, but I was never that vulnerable again with a woman to where this is really what I feel. And I'm not interested in that. And so that eventually led me into some great adventures. And when I say great adventures, meaning basically womanizing, going through junior high, going through high school, going to college, and what eventually happened upon my incarceration that caused me to reassess what I really wanted in life. And I prayed and I told God, I said, because my mama told me, she said, you need to be a man and let your fiance at the time go. And I said, I am being a man. I'm being responsible for my crime. She said, look, you're trying to take this woman through something that had nothing to do with her by being with you. And so I listened to my mother and I let her go. And then I told the Lord, I said, Lord, you don't make deals, but what I need, I'm doing the best that I can, because at this time I had given my life to Christ. And I said, I have a broke heart. So if you will mend that broke heart, I've never said this in my life. I said, there's no amount of money and there's no woman or the opposite sex that I will trade for you. And I repeat it once again, I'm not making a deal, because you don't make deals. I'm just saying, I need you to break those bonds between she and I. And when you do that, what I gave to others, I'm going to do fully for you. So by the time I eventually get on the unit with you, and up until today, the thing that holds me the most is God healed me of a broken heart. And when he healed me of a broken heart, he gave me a heart where I care for people. And so what has kept me from being a womanizer, what has kept me from falling short in reference to basically one of the primary things, money and women, that I always would take the shortcut with, what has kept me from taking that shortcut up into 2021, even up to, we talked, we already talked this morning, is the fact that I love people. And what God did for me in my heart allows me to not settle for less, knowing in the back of my mind and in the deep, deep recesses of my heart, what if I do decide to womanize and he leaves me in a condition where only he can heal me? I don't want to do that. I want to stay whole like I am. And so it's not that temptation does not knock on my door. It's not that I'm a great individual. It's just the fact that I'm so grateful that God broke those soul ties, that I don't want to get caught up in any more of them, because I don't know if he'll break them again. And so that's the journey. And so do you have any final words for our listeners today concerning the journey?
Hey, look here. Buckle up. Buckle up, because you finna hear some things. This was just a little, oh man. Buckle up, man. Buckle up and ride with us. And that's a beautiful thing.
Say, I know you might not remember. Man, the little song that you wrote to that beat, that miseducation and a broken home.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Miseducation and a broken home. My father's gone. Oh, now I have a chance to finally be all something, nothing withholding me. You don't remember that hook?
That's amazing that you remember that much of that. Nah,
That's why, no. That's why I'm telling you, because this journey, I'm saying the lyrics that you put together on that song.
Yeah.
I'm saying the reason it resonated with me was like, man, that's a journey. Do you remember that hook?
I don't.
Ooh, that would have been nice, man.
I don't.
We gonna have to slide that in on a segment, man. You know.
Yeah, we had to see. I don't know. I had some Hurricane Harvey. A lot of my material that I had that I wrote, Harvey washed it away. But I see, because I still have another song book that for whatever reason I had up top in the closet. So I don't know if that's on that, because you asked me to do that for that, and I didn't really count that as something that so I don't know if I have my stuff.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tell the people, my boy said, buckle up.
Buckle up.
You better. We're gonna say some things. We're gonna say some things, and so I'm looking forward to it. And so I thank everybody for listening. We thank you for listening. Hope that you tune in. Hope that you share this and tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
Because all of us have a journey. God bless you.
Yeah. Already.
So